It is steer moving day. I've been trying all summer to get these steers to come when I call them. The ones last year figured this out within being here only a couple of weeks. For whatever reason, this group, they're not as trainable. Come on, boys. Come on, boys. See that? Nothing. Come on, boys. I know, you got a good shady spot down here and you don't want to be bothered. But you got good shade over there too. Every time I gather them up in this front pasture, they're tucked down here in the corner. There's so much brush and everything back in here that you can't really go around, get behind them and push them out. Let's go get in a new field. Oh, don't get that way. Come on, boys. You know the drill. These guys are funny because once they do start moving, they know exactly where to go. See right there? They're going straight for that gate, and I bet you they'll run right over to the last pasture like I want them to, because they know that's the deal. Let's go. Don't go down there. You know that's not the right way. There you go. Well, they made it. Just look at this awesome grass they have to eat. I'm seeing Dallas grass, clover, and then I think this sort of off color or more like almost like a whitish green. I think this is orchard grass. I didn't plant this pasture, so I don't know exactly what's out here, but that's certainly what it looks like. And of course, we've got the smut grass coming in out here as well. This stuff is just, it's nasty and it's everywhere. I don't think the smut grass will become as much of a problem on this pasture because I don't graze this nearly as hard as I do the pasture back at home. Smut grass is going to be worse when you're grazing hard because the cattle will really abuse those desirable plants and eat them down to the ground and let the smut grass flourish. Whereas in a situation like this, where there's like plenty of grass out here for these guys, they can't honestly keep up with it. The desirable species are able to stay ahead and compete with the smut grass. Let's make sure the water's working. And it's clean. All right, guys, we'll see you in a few days. So now that the steers are moved and we verify that the waters are good, I gotta go on a broken sprinkler hunt in this pasture that they were just in. And there's a couple up here that, whoa, almost got sprayed. There's a couple up here that are not broken, but I can tell by the green pattern on the ground that something is not right. So let's see if we can figure out what's going on here. If you notice, this sprinkler has like dead spots kind of all around it, and you can tell it's not really reaching out as far on this side as it probably should. Actually, the next one's the same way. It's really green right around the head itself, but then out here you can tell that it's water stressed. So this one, I assume the problem is too much grass has grown up in the sprinkler head. One thing I have learned maintaining the irrigation system out here is that it only takes one little blade of grass growing up in that spring or the striker on the sprinkler. That's all it takes to mess it up to where it won't work right. So I guarantee that's what the issue is with this one. Fortunately, it's an easy problem to deal with. Yeah, let's see. Well, I think I got everything in order here, so we're gonna head back home, and I've got a bunch of other things that I need to do today. What a surprise. I need to get started on the new corral fence. A day like today when I gotta run to the steer pasture, you know, this ends up killing several hours, and then it's kind of hard to motivate yourself to start another big project because you know that you're not going to get very much done. But I think at the very least we can get some pipe unloaded, get some things in order, just get everything ready so that tomorrow when I do have an entire day to devote to that, I will be able to get right to it. You want to drive? All right, I'll drive this time. Get back in there, you little stinker. Yeah, I know. You're not used to this. Well, as you can see, everybody is very excited that something different is happening out here. You know, I gave you a brush specifically for that purpose. Well, everybody that wanted to know where I got the brushes, look, you don't need a brush. You could just get a toolbox, and apparently that's just as good. Once the cows get tired of messing with the trailer and kind of get out of here, my plan is to put a couple old posts on the ground, and I just want to unload all of this pipe right here. Really. That was the best way to go, huh? He's pretty graceful, aren't you? But anyway, the plan is to get all these materials and supplies stacked up here on the dead ground, you know, because there's nothing here for the cows to eat. And then I'll need to put another hot wire up to block this off. And while I'm at it, I'll make it so that that hot wire keeps the cattle off of where the new fence will go, because I'm going to start drilling holes and putting the new posts in, and I need to keep the cattle away from that so that they don't push those posts over when they don't have any support on them. Guys are just the most curious bunch. I'm glad that's done, you know, this pipe's heavy. So the next thing that I need to accomplish here is I need to basically wire off this area where I'm gonna wanna be working. Honestly, they probably cannot hurt this pipe any, but they can poop on it and they can rub on it and scatter it all around. So I would rather just keep them away from it and just sort of establish the boundaries now, because it's probably gonna take me, honestly, it's gonna probably take a couple weeks for me to get this finished. So they will be back here again before this is done. So we'll just sort of establish a perimeter or a boundary, and then we won't have to worry about it. My thought is the easiest way to do this is to just run a hot wire from the end of this gate right on over to that sort of funnel fence over there, and then that'll still give them access to the corral, but it won't give them access to any of this area, like where my truck is right now, where the pipe is piled up. And I think that's the best way to do it, except for one problem. There's always one problem. And I'm kind of surprised that no one pointed this out in the last video. Are you guys friends? Is this all gonna go well? That's nice. All right, Callie, let him go, let him go. Callie, let him go. But at the end of my funnel fence here, this post has rotted off and is now gone. So I've just got these 2x6s sticking out here into no man's land. And what I've noticed, I mean, this needs to be fixed anyway, not just because of how I want to route the wire, but what happens is they start scratching on the blue brush, and then if more come up and want to scratch on that, then the ones that get bullied out come over to this fence, these boards, and start scratching on them. So it won't be long before they break this post off and they just go right on down the line. So we need to replace this end post so that not only do I have a good place to tie my wire, but also so they can't break these boards off. I definitely made them mad. I don't know if I killed that many. Boy, that one dug pretty tough. I think what was happening, in addition to the ground just being dry and hard, but I could tell that I was hitting the old rotted off post. You know that you're hitting that when you're getting these little wood chips coming up out of your hole. And yeah, the augers don't like to dig through wood too much, but if you keep, you know, slamming it down on there, eventually it usually will grab and go through it. I hung on to this post because it's not too terribly bad, and I think we're gonna use a trick that I learned from Grandpa, and that is when you pull these posts out and they're not like really too rotten on the side that was in the ground, you just flip them over, put the side that was on top down in the ground, get another 20 years out of it. Bad. As with all of the wood fences in this corral, I do plan to eventually replace this with oil pipe or pre-made panels or something. But I couldn't really ignore this one because it was just going to keep getting worse. And as this funnel fence gets shorter, it gets harder for me to catch the cows when I need to get them in the working corral to do whatever I have to do. So I have no doubt that this post will last long enough to get me to the point where I replace this with metal. So until then, it ought to be fine. So next step is I need to take this hot wire here and extend it a little bit so that I can pull it back this way over to that gate and then back to the post. And I know to have me explain it to you like this on film, it's confusing. If you were standing here with me, it would make perfect sense, but all you really need to know is that I'm going to use this hot wire to block off that area. Trouble is, the reel that I need to release so I can pull more out has a big wasp nest in it, and you might start to notice a theme here. I've got a real problem with wasps. I'll come back later this evening and do all the hot wire stuff. You guys have seen all that before, but what you haven't seen is what I am gonna try now to help get rid of these wasps that I've got going around here. Came across a video on YouTube, and I can't remember the name of the channel now. I should give the guy credit where it's due, but basically he said that mixing boric acid in with some sort of a juice or a soda and then putting it like in an empty soda can or bottle, or in this case I want to try putting it in this little quail chick feeder. But basically the idea is if you mix these sugary liquids with the boric acid, put it in these, we'll call them bait stations, and sort of set them all around the ranch here where I know that wasps are very prevalent, that what they do is they bring that liquid back to the nest and it ends up killing all the ones that are in the nest. The sugary liquid is what's going to attract them, and hopefully the boric acid kills them. What's nice about this is that I don't have to go around and find every nest that I can around here and spray it. I don't have to climb up on top of the roof of the barn and spray those, which I have done before. If this works, this will be a very simple and easy way to get rid of the wasps around here. So this lemonade expired in June, and it's starting to look pretty nasty. Still smells lemony, so hopefully it'll work. And actually, I think I'm supposed to dilute this with water, so I'm gonna dump some of this out into one of these bottles. Only reason I'm going out of my way to save this is in case this does work, I might want to mix up some more. So this is a good, you know, it'd be wasteful to dump that out on the ground and then, you know, be needing it again here in a couple weeks. If a little bit's good, then a lot must be better, right? So we got this about half water, half lemonade, and 2 capfuls of boric acid. I guess that's enough. All right, now I just got to find places to put all, what do we end up with? 5 bait stations, and I mean, hopefully this works. This would be awesome. They did say it's much more effective to do this in the springtime when the wasps are coming out of hibernation and they're going around to build their nests. Obviously, we're too late for that, but I figured, what the heck, let's just give it a try. I ended up on Amazon, the smallest quantity of boric acid that I could find was 5 pounds. That's probably a lifetime supply for me if I'm doing this and this works. So I figured, we got nothing to lose, let's just try it now. To tell you the truth, it really doesn't feel like I accomplished very much today, but I've got all the steel here where it needs to be to build the fence. I've got the digger on the tractor now. I've got this little fence fixed up now. All I need to do is string that hot wire up and it'll be ready to go. When I'm ready to start putting posts in, all I need to do is throw my cement mixer on the trailer or in the back of the truck, whatever, grab my level, and I'll have everything here where I need it, ready to go. And if you're wondering, why didn't I just leave the pipe on the trailer and sort of take it off as I need it? Well, that's because I need the trailer for something else, and you guys are gonna have to wait and see what that is. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.